Hey everybody, how we doing today? Hope everyone's having a great end to their January and a wonderful Thursday afternoon or morning or wherever you are. Um, Crazy that we are almost to the end of January. That means we are like 1/12 of the way through the year and that much closer to Q4. So, always exciting things to look forward to. So, thanks for joining us today. Happy to see you guys were able to join. The plan for today is we're going to go through a little product demo for you guys on a kind of grouped listing. I'll try to show you guys how I would do this one. It's going to be a little bit different depending if you're on Etsy or Shopify. So I would set it up a little bit differently. So we'll walk through that and then show you both of those. And as always, save as much time as we can at the end to answer any questions that you guys have. Um, Alrighty. Yeah, Elizabeth says, don't talk that way. It gives me anxiety. Just means you got to start planning now, right? So the best time to start planning for Q4 was yesterday, and the second best time is today. So it's never too early to start. There's never enough time. So alrighty, so let me get my screen pulled up here, and we're just gonna jump into it today. So the design that I'm planning on doing today, I wanted to show because it really uses the add variants functionality quite a lot. So we're going to use that to add not only additional products to a listing, so they're going to be able to choose between sweatshirt or hoodie, but then we're going to also have design variations that they can select if they want Nana or Mama are the two that I have. And of course, you could add more, or I'll talk through how I would kind of make a custom one possibly as well if you wanted to. So let me go ahead and get my screen pulled up here and we'll get started. Let's see, present screen. Okay, cool. All right, there we go. So we should have our screen up. So this is, as I said, they're going to have the choice between Nana or Mama on the front of the shirt with the date, and then we'll do names down the sleeve. So this is another one of those designs that is, always popular and trending, in particular around Mother's Day. But what I like with this type of design is that it works pretty well for Valentine's Day as well. So a lot of times people think on Valentine's Day that people are usually buying gifts for their significant other, but also a lot of times people buy gifts for mom and grandma and that sort of thing. So it works pretty well for Valentine's Day, works good for Mother's Day, and then of course anything works well for the Christmas season. So um, it really helps kind of with sales year round that way. So what we're going to do here first is build one on a sweatshirt like we normally would, and then we'll start adding in the additional options that we want to be able to offer. So what I'm going to do here is come to sweatshirts, um, and we're going to look at Printify here. So we're going to go with the this Gildan unisex heavy blend here at the top. The provider that we need to select is going to be Swift POD because they are one of the ones that does the sleeve printing down the side. So we're going to come here and go to start designing, and we'll start with uploading our artwork. And let me find the first one here. Okay, here is the first one. So you see we've got Mama. That should not have established 2024 on it. Did I save? I saved the wrong one. I did. Yep. So that shouldn't have the 2024 on it. We should, the way I intended to build this was the next design I have built that way. So I can show you guys what I intended to do on that one, but was to have that year be changeable, right? Because especially right now, this time of year, you'll have a lot going 2024 and 2025. Or you can also just leave off the established date if you don't want to do the established date. Both versions look like they sell well on Etsy. And actually, you could do both with and without the established date, and add those as variant options too if you wanted to. So that's something else to keep in mind. Okay, so we have our initial design here. I'm going to go with a very limited number of colors. And as we add in the additional variant options, you'll kind of get an idea as to why. Um, and for Shopify, I may even have to do fewer because on Shopify, we have to stay under 100 total variations. So we've got this set up for our front. The other thing that we want to do is make sure to add in our sleeve print position before we continue on here. So I'm going to select the left sleeve here, and we're going to go ahead and go save and continue. So this is going to save our front and then take us to our back design. Elizabeth was asking if Swift POD has a subscription cost. So Swift POD is a supplier inside of Printify. So you'll actually connect up through Printify, which you do not have to have a subscription to use Printify or Swift POD, but they do have a subscription plan that can save you on product costs once you get to that level or decide that you want to do it. Okay, so now we're on our left sleeve print here. So I don't have any artwork that I'm going to upload for this one, but I just want to scroll down here to the bottom, and we're going to start putting in our personalized names down here at the bottom that they can put in. So what I'm going to do here is just go to add text, and then I'm going to align this text field down at the bottom so I can get it here where I can see it. Now I'm just going to do text here. A lot of times you'll see them place like a heart down here at the bottom to start with. You can certainly do any of that without an issue if you want to. So let's put in our first placeholder name. And we want to make this box a bit wider here so that it can fit a longer name. And I'm going to make it a bit bigger as well, and make sure we get that centered up. So there's our first one. Now we want them to be able to do up to however many. So we'll say up to 6. So the easiest way to do this, especially on Etsy, is just going to be to add our 6 fields here, and we'll just make anything over 1 be an optional field, right? So what I'm going to do is just duplicate this field, and now I have my second one here. And what we want to do is just mark this one as optional. So we're just going to fill that on up. So there's 3 and 4. Okay, we'll just go with 5 for now. And then I would go through and put in a different placeholder name for each one. And I'll also show you guys how you can reuse this. So we only have to kind of go through this setup process one time. Okay, so we have the name set there. Of course, we could do different fonts if we wanted to, any of that type of stuff. But that should be all set for us there. So this is going to give us our front and our sleeve print. So we'll just go to create product. Eva was asking, is this embroidered or printed? This is going to be printed. They've increased some of the print positions and ability to do embroidery a bit, but they still don't have the larger full chest print. I don't think. I saw they were working on adding that, so I don't think that's available yet. And I don't think they can do down on the sleeves yet with embroidery. So right now, this is going to be the printed option. Alrighty, so now that we have these added, so you can see here we've got our mama, we've got our sleeve print, and then we have just our standard sizes and colors. So the first thing that we want to be able to do is offer this exact same design, but we want to offer it on a hoodie instead. So we want to change our size selection so that it has the hoodie option in there with it as well. So that they will, instead of just selecting small, medium, large, they're going to have sweatshirt small or hoodie small and be able to make that selection between the two options. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and rename my variants here to have my sweatshirt option added to the front here. So I'm going to go to update variant names. And right now, this is the only option we have. So we just want to update all of them. So under size here, I want to add to front, and I want to add just the word sweatshirt. And in this case, I'll do it with dashes. You can do a slash, whatever you want. We just want that word sweatshirt to be in front of the sizes for us. So we'll select update. And now we'll see we have all of our variant options renamed here to have sweatshirt and then the size. So those will all show up how we want them there. So the next thing that we want to do is be able to add a hoodie option to this, right? So what we're going to do is come back here to add variants. And this by default is going to take us into the last category that we were in, which is just going to be in our sweatshirts category. So when we're in this kind of mode here at the top where you see selecting additional variants, we can browse any product that we want in the catalog and be able to add that as an option onto our existing product. So we're going to come up here to the product catalog and we're going to go to hoodies. And again, we're going to go with the unisex heavy blend here. And then we're going to go with Swift again because we want to keep the same print options that are going to be on the sleeve. So we're just going to go to start designing. Now this time, instead of uploading new artwork, I'm just going to go here and say add from library. And I'm just going to come down here to my mama design here that I added. This is a little bit different size for the hoodie. So we do want to resize this a bit here. So it fits on the hoodie how we want it. Now, what colors did I select? I think I did sand, sport gray, and white. Let me double check that real quick here. So I want to make sure I select the same colors. Otherwise, I'm going to have a bunch of, yeah, I did white, sand, sport gray. Perfect. So we've got the same colors selected. My design preloaded. Now in this case, it wasn't that big of a deal because I didn't have additional fields on here. But you'll see now when we go here to do the left sleeve, I'm going to check that here. And I'm going to go save and continue. Now I can do the same thing here and say add from library. And this time I want to select the one with all of the names. And when I select that, it's going to pre-fill all of that setup that I already did. It's already just going to be on here automatically for me. So they're going to match between both products, and I don't have to go through that entire setup process again and put in all of the placeholder names, make sure I have the right ones marked as optional, that whole thing. They're all just going to automatically be set there for us, which is exactly what we want. So we've got that set, all good there. So now we're just going to come down here to the bottom and go to update product. Now we'll see instead of creating a new product, we're now going to have the additional variant options that we need on here for the hoodie option. So we're going to do the same thing that we did to update the names for sweatshirt. We're going to do the same thing, but for our hoodie. So we're going to come here and go to update variant names. And now under the product here, we want to make sure that we select our hoodie because we only want to affect the variants that are associated with that hoodie product. And we're going to do the same thing here under size. We're going to add to the front and we're just going to say hoodie. Again, with the slashes or with the dashes. So it kind of matches the same format as what we did with the sweatshirt. So we'll put that there and we'll select update. And now we can see we've got our sweatshirt here. And if we scroll down, we've got all of our hoodie options added here as well. So now with this, we have one design and the customer is able to select from two different products. They can select whether they want the sweatshirt or the hoodie. I see Paul Designs asking, how do you space out the names correctly? Yeah, so the guidelines will help you make sure that they are centered. And then also, if you notice when I added them, I used the duplicate layer functionality that also ensures that each font size, each text box is going to be the same size between all of them. So using that duplicate instead of re-adding and changing the size again, using that duplicate is going to make sure that I have the consistent size throughout. Okay, so now that we have this with Mama, like I said, they're going to be able to select their sweatshirt or hoodie. What we're going to do now is add another option where they're going to be able to select from a design. So I have one that is Nana that they'll be able to personalize as well. So we're going to add that um, as an additional option. Now, this is where I would do things possibly a little bit differently, depending on if I am selling on Shopify. And the reason is that on Etsy, we only have two variant fields. We can't have more than two fields. So all we have is size and color. I'd probably rename this to style dash size. Let's just do that. So we'll do style size so they're clear on what it is that they're selecting. It would look better with a slash. So that way it's clear. It's not just selecting size, it's got the style in there as well. So that's going to be the label that shows up inside of Etsy. Now, if we're selling, like I said, if we're selling on Shopify, we have a third variant option that we can use. So we can use that third variant option for whatever we want. We can do the product selection. So instead of adding it to our kind of size field, we could have that one select between a sweatshirt or a hoodie. Or if we have multiple designs that we're adding, we can have that third variant option be for our design as well. So they're selecting the design in that third option. If you're selling on Etsy, you need to keep it within those two fields. So if you want to do two designs, we are going to set this up similar to how we did with the sweatshirt and hoodie, where we're going to add the design name to the color field so that they're going to select, instead of just white sand or sport gray, they're going to have the choice between Mama white or Nana white. So that's kind of the difference between the two. Um, so yeah, so the word mom is already printed. Can you change 2024 to 2025? Yes, so that's what I'll show you with the Nana design that I'm getting ready to add here. We'll add that as a piece of custom text as well that they'll be able to select from. So the first thing that I want to do before I add an additional design is I want to rename these variants, because it's a lot easier to rename your variants before you start adding additional designs. If you kind of do it as you go, it's easier to keep track of everything, especially on something like this where I have a bigger list of variant options here. And actually, am I going to run into, yeah, so this selection, even with my second design, we're still going to be under the limits of Shopify as well. We'll be under the 100 variant limit that exists with Shopify currently. So what I'm going to do here is go to update variant names. And for color, again, I'm going to say add to front. And this is my Mama design. So I'm just going to say Mama with a slash here. And to stay consistent with my other one, we'll do dashes. So we'll say Mama and update. And now that's going to add the word Mama in front of all of my options here. So what I would do here now is, instead of this just being color, I would say design slash color, because they're selecting more than one there. So it kind of keeps that label consistent with what's going to be showing up on Etsy. Okay, so now that we have that, we're going to go back into our add variants functionality here again. And this time we're going to do the same sweatshirt and hoodie as we did last time. So we're going to go into our unisex heavy blend here and come down to Swift POD. And we have new artwork to upload for this one because this is our Nana option. So on this one, you can see we have a blank spot for the year. So we're going to be able to put in a text field there to be able to change that. So we're going to select the same three colors here. Remember to select our sleeve option. And then we're going to add our text layer here. And on this one, we'll say 2024. And again, I would probably change this font so it matches my established date here. I didn't look up what that font was before I added this, so I would change your font here. So we have that listed there. We're going to mark that as personalized. And then the front is going to be all set. So we're going to go save and continue again. Now we're just going to take us to the sleeve. So again, we're going to go add from library and we're just going to select that same sleeve design that we did previously because it's already set up and configured for us. We don't need to make any adjustments to it. So we're once again good to go with that sleeve design. So we'll go to update product. And there we have it. So now we have our um, variant options added for the Nano design. So now what I want to do is come into update variant names. And this time what I want to do is update any of my colors here that are associated with Nana. So they're going to be the ones that don't have the design listed in the front. I want to update those and I want to add to the front. I want to add Nana like that. And we can go ahead and update our style and size at the same time because these are going to be the ones that need to be updated to have our sweatshirt listed on the front of the size as well. So this is going to update all of our variant names for us all in one shot. So we'll go update. And now if we come down here, we can see we've got our sweatshirt. Here's our mama, and then here's our Nana selection. So that's all set and perfect. So now we just want to do that exact same thing, but we're going to do it for the hoodie this time. So we're going to come in here, go to add variants. We're going to come back over to our hoodies. And again, our unisex heavy blend here. And Swift POD again. So we'll go start designing. I'm going to do add from library here so I can get my front design that I added. That's going to add that there, but again, we're on a hoodie, so we want to adjust this a bit. So I'm going to highlight both of those and just get this kind of centered back up here how I want it. And white, sport gray, and sand. Make sure to select our left sleeve. And we'll just go save and continue. Hopefully I'm not going through this too fast. If you do have any questions, feel free to start typing those in. I'm going to be wrapped up with the demo portion here actually pretty quick. So feel free to start dropping in any questions that you guys have and we'll get those answered for you. Okay, so we're going to go back here to select the same sleeve print that we've used on all of them here. Again, it's nice we don't have to go through and reconfigure this each time. And we'll just hit update. So now we should have our hoodie options, variant options added now to the product as well. So now we just need to rename these variant options to add in our hoodie and to add in the name of our design here. So we're going to go to update variant names. Again, we're going to select the 3 colors that don't have name option there. And here we want to make sure we put in hoodie in the same way that we did previously. And then we also want to say Nana here and have that match what we have here as well and update. And now if we come down, look at our variant options, we've got our sweatshirt, Mama and Nana. And then if we scroll down here, we should see our hoodie here with Mama and Nana. So just like that, that added with this one product, they're able to select from 2 different designs and 2 different product types, along with all of the colors and all of the sizes they may want to have. So when I publish this over now to Etsy or to Shopify, it's going to have all the SKUs, all the personalization options, everything linked up correctly so that everything will import and work the way that it should. So if I publish this now, let's go ahead and publish this over to Etsy here. And we'll take a look at this. Under our variant options, we should see everything here all filled out with our SKUs. And if we go to preview, Oh, I forgot. Let me change how I'm sharing here. StreamYard doesn't like to show those drop downs, so let's change how we're sharing here. Okay, I think now you should see them. So they're going to have this design and color option here where they're going to select their color and whether they want mama or nana. And then under style and size, they're going to have sweatshirt or hoodie with all of the design options listed there. So those will all be set up and automatically available. So if we also now push this over to Shopify, and let's take a look at it here in Shopify. One of the things you may want to consider changing is if you want these listed, you can see most Shopify themes by default will list your variant options in kind of this pill button format where you can select between them. It's not bad. But as you get longer variant options like this, it does take up quite a bit of the screen where it takes a bit before you can get down here to see your text entries on these. So you can actually adjust this in Shopify if you want to change these to be a similar drop down format. So if we come over, I think I've already got one created here as default with drop downs. And if we refresh this now, there we go. So now you can see these are just regular drop downs, and it doesn't take up nearly as much space, which the nice thing about that is it doesn't push the buy button down as far on the page when you have those set up as drop downs like that. So to set that up, what you need to do is come into your theme templates in Shopify. If I come here and go to view template, what I did was to add this as a new template option. You can come in here and go to create new template, give it a name, select what you want it based on, and this essentially duplicates your product template. So you have a new one with all the same settings as the previous one. And then if you go to your variant pick here, you can change here the type, whether you want it to be drop down or if you want it to be pills. So you can change between the two on which one you want. And then you have that template that you can then use on any products in the future if you want to use drop downs instead. So depending on the products that you're doing, sometimes it's nice to be able to have those as drop downs instead of that like pill button type of format that takes up extra room. So um, cool. I think that covers both platforms pretty well. Let me know what questions you guys have. Again, it can be about this, about doing variant combinations like this. But if you have any other questions at all with Anywhere POD or with Shopify or with Etsy, happy to spend some time answering any other questions that you guys might have as well. So um, feel free to shoot those over. Did I miss that you no longer have to enter artwork for one name, two names? Um, so that's another option of a way to do this, especially on Shopify. So for those that don't know what Eva is referring to here, what we have is just one option with six names, and then we made these top ones optional in particularly for Etsy, that works really, really well because you only have the one option, the one text box to put names into, right? So sometimes what we'll do with Shopify, especially if your design needs to change for every name that is entered, This one, it doesn't because they're just kind of stacking on top of each other, so it makes it a little bit easier. But if you're doing a name where you need, maybe you're doing birth flowers, right, that are laid out more horizontally, and you need to keep things centered, so your design needs to change for every one, we would add those as different artwork variations, and then have, for probably in this case, the third variant option, the customer would also select, do you want to enter one name, two name, three name, all the way up to six? You can still do that here. Really, the only difference is that they're going to see all six of these fields. They're just not all going to be required. So there's only going to be one that's required, and then they can leave the others blank. So if I was going to do that, what I would do, of course, I would change this enter text to enter name, and then I would put in parentheses optional on the ones that are optional, so the customer doesn't see six names and think that they need to fill out all six. So again, it's kind of up to you whether you add that as a separate option or not. And it kind of depends on the design. This one, it's not required. You don't have to. It still works without it. Other designs where you want the design elements to change, you really kind of need it. So let's see here. Any new integrations coming soon? Yes. So there's the one main one I can tell you about is Printify. And then we have probably three or more other ones kind of on the docket that we're either working on our side or working with their team on, where they still have a few things they need to put in place on their side for us to be able to integrate. Some ones we're really excited about, and some new integrations that are hopefully coming soon, that's going to make the entire design process super easy. So can't get into details on that yet, but it is probably the feature I'm most excited about getting completed in 2025. I think it's going to be a real game changer. But I don't want to go on a diatribe about that because we're not ready to spill the beans on it yet. So stay tuned for more information on that one. Yes, Eva, you are correct. That prevents having to do multiple artwork. Again, like I said, it kind of depends on the design. So, um, yes, if I said Printify, I did mean Printful. Printful is in the works currently. I use a default product template created by Shine On for my Shopify site. If I begin using custom template setup options with Anywhere POD, pretty friendly integration using a Shine On Dawn custom theme. Yeah, so it's really just there's not really any difference. Like if you use, I don't know if you're talking referring to like the Shine On Fast template or anything like that, but the setup process is essentially exactly the same of what I showed here. If you want to do drop downs instead of pill buttons, I think it's the same setup even on some of those Shine On themes. So pretty easy to mess with. So. Uh, Stephanie says would love merch eyes. Yes, we have looked into them. Um, yes, Paul Designs is correct. So Printful and Printify have merged, but they are for the foreseeable future seem to be operating, at least their platforms are going to operate independently of each other. I'm sure there's things behind the scenes in the works that they are working on that's going to at least add some cross functionality. But I don't know if they will ever be a single platform, so to speak. At least not that they have announced it all. We love spilling the beans. It's coming. It's coming. Elizabeth said, "Shine on fast." Use on my product template. Yeah. So, do I have Shine on fast on this store? Let me see. Yeah, right here. Shine on fast. So I think they're. Yeah, this is the one that supports app blocks, variant picker, squatches. So maybe there. It does not look like they. Hmm. So what happens if I switch over to that one? Let's just see here. Shine on fast. It looks like they only do kind of the variant boxes like this, that they don't do, um, mhm, that they don't have a way to be able to switch to drop downs like I just showed you. It looks like their variant picker only has those two options. And I think I heard somebody mention that, well, I'm not sure because I haven't tested it, but I think I saw someone mention that adding a third variant option when you're working with Shine On Fast may not work as well. So if we wanted to do, will that let me do it? Let me see. I can do it from here. Let's just test something here real quick. Let's go option three. So I heard someone mention that Shine On Fast doesn't support a third variant option, but I'm not 100% for sure on that. So I want to check that real quick here for you. So I'm just going to put in here under update variant names. We'll just say here sweatshirt. And you can ignore this. It's just because I sell on Etsy as well. Okay, and then let's go hoodie. And we'll let that load. We can see what this looks like here once we have that third variant option. Yes, so let me make sure that updated correctly. So here I have three variant options: design color, the style size, and then just this test one that I added. But if I come and look at the product, I just have these two. There it is. Okay, it just took a minute to update. So you can use Shine On Fast, but it does not look like you can change to a drop down field instead of the button type here. It doesn't look like there's an option here. As if I go to a toggle, doesn't look like it does anything. Yeah. So unfortunately, there does not seem to be a way um, to change these to drop downs if you're wanting to use Shine On Fast still. Um, yep, yep. So I'm going to Shine On Fast. Had the team update some code in mine. Forgot what it was. Shine On Shopify page templates. Paul is not a big fan of their templates. One of the various reasons I dropped them. Any chance in the future to be able to bulk upload also the digital items? Possibly, yes. So if you haven't yet, I would either vote on or create that in our feature requests. If it's something that people ask for, we could possibly do it. Um, One of the limitations to that on the digital items, though, is a lot of times you're adding more than one digital file when you're selling digital items on Etsy. So that gets a little bit more tricky on the setup of that to get it all in there. So, um, how many merchants typically use more than one supplier? Is that fairly doable to keep organized? If I use more than one, obviously I'm just with Shine On right now. So, certainly not suggesting to move away from anyone, but I would say um, I can't put a hard number to it because I don't have the exact stats, but I would say the vast majority of our sellers are utilizing more than one supplier for various reasons, whether it's they don't have a product or different price points or whatever the case may be. Most of them do end up doing adding different suppliers to their store for a variety of reasons. So certainly doable. In my opinion, not too bad to keep organized, especially using Anywhere POD because you still kind of have that one central hub for all of your products. So it makes it easier to kind of find those and help to keep those organized somewhat. Um, but yes, certainly at least our top 10 merchants that I was looking at the other day, each one had some products from more than one supplier. I'll put it that way. So yeah, certainly is very common. Um, yeah, Paul says he uses 6 different suppliers. So certainly not surprised by that. Um, yeah, Stephanie said a large percentage. I agree. Very, very large percentage of our customers. Not everybody, we still have, some people that only want to use one, whether it's Shine On or Printify or whatever the case may be. And that's perfectly fine to do that as well. But large percentage end up using more than one supplier, especially if you want to get into any unique items. Like, Deco Plate is one that, like, their products have pretty low competition, high margins, but they kind of specialize in their plateware products, and you can't really get those products widely available anywhere else. So that's one good example of why you'd want to look at additional suppliers too. So, alrighty. Yes, Jupiter saying bulk upload digital would be great as well. So I would be curious, both Sabrina and Jupiter, if you wanted to send one vote on that feature, like I said, in our feature request board. But would also be curious on what type of digital products you're selling, and if it's one file or multiple files on a listing, because that kind of changes things a little bit on how it's handled. So would be curious on that, and kind of how you're using that functionality too. So. Alrighty. Any other questions at all? If not, we'll let people get back to Valentine's Day being right around the corner. So hopefully everybody's getting all their stores ready for that. And then we'll have Mother's Day and all kinds of stuff right behind it. So, um, any other questions at all? Thank you for your time. You bet. Thank you for your time. Thanks for joining. We appreciate it. Looks like we don't have any other questions, so I will let you guys get going. If you do have any other questions throughout the week, always feel free to reach out to our support. We are happy to help anytime with any questions that you might have, and hope you guys all have a great rest of your week. Alrighty. Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.